What's up, team? Let's melt our fingers off together. So I was on the couch last night, and you see this chart right here. I know it looks crazy. The ebook's linked below. We're going to pull it apart layer by layer, but the end goal is kind of this. This will help your rhythm skills so much. I was on the couch, and I was going, let's see if I can kind of remember. I might shank it up, but this is the general idea. Okay, watch this. Okay, there's the little model of what we're gonna go for. So let's get this chart off of here. Here is the first thing. So we have to think like songwriters. So your end goal, no matter what, should always be to learn something new, to have a more focused, efficient practice. Always focus. If you're playing, you have to have some kind of rhythm. So rhythm is king. But you see this right here. I know there's a lot of dots. Don't worry. This is an E minor bar chord, and there's the triad in blue. Now in pink, let me show you what I did. That little intro, I wasn't playing the full bar chord or the triad like that, like I normally do, which is fine, okay? But I was emphasizing the intervals, the distance between two notes. So if you see right below that, I wrote out real little, but you can see E to G equals a minor third. So I went E to G. Now see why this is such a good rhythm thing? I have to skip some strings and pick. You can ditch the pick and use your fingers. I'll try and model that real quick before we leave here, but watch. I was going E, G, and it doesn't matter the order. Here's just the idea. The pink dots are just some additional intervals, the distance between two notes. So E to G, minor third, right? You got E to D here as a minor seventh, okay? Then you got E to C here. What do you got there? Major sixth, okay? And then you've got E to F sharp right here. That's a major second. And then you've got E to B is a perfect fifth. So essentially I'm always pedaling off of this root note. Pedaling just means I keep going back to it. See that real slow. Think of eighth notes though, because you want to keep the rhythm. You should play this with a metronome or a drum beat, but for now you're trying to internalize it without. Just feel, kind of take the big piece of clay and we're going to crunch it down. We're going to keep honing it and turning it into something. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See, I hit an open note there. I shanked that. That's okay. G's a real clean key because there's only one sharp in it. It's F sharp. So if you hit any of these open strings, it still belongs to the key of G, okay? So G, the parent key's on the top left of this chart. And I'll explain why I'm thinking G major in a minute. So 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, you got to look at it like this. If you came into this lesson and you didn't even know that E to G, this is a minor third interval, and now you know that and you start applying it, then you've gotten something. You've gotten better. So pat yourself on the back. Let's go. Okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I'm E, root, and I'm just kind of banging around off of these intervals. E, F sharp, G, B, C. I'm not even really using the D. Okay? Maybe I'll go to it later. That's there if you want to shoot for the sky. Shoot for the stars, okay? Okay, so you kind of see what we're doing there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So think of eighth notes to kind of give yourself a nice framework. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to slide down to the next chart. Whoop! We'll get you through this pretty quick because I really want you to try this. So if you're new, hit the buttons you need to hit, which we'd love to keep you at Team Jellyfish. Hit the like button, guys. I got to see if you two will actually push this. They've been crushing this lately, but this one's good. We got to get this out there. Okay. So now we've got C. This one we're just going to focus on intervals. I'm not going to play it. There's a C5 chord right there, but I'm not going to hit that. I'm going to go 1. This is kind of clean. So you got C to D. Same thing. I just wrote the intervals. You got a major second, major third. You've got the fifth, perfect fifth, okay? And then the major sixth. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... See why it's so good too? You've got to be really precise with your picking hand because I'm skipping over the D and G strings. Now, if I do hit them by accident, it's okay. Don't stop your rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... This could be a great way just to warm up or start making music so it's not doesn't feel like an exercise. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... See, I shanked it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... It's almost easier to play it if you don't think about it. Okay? So it's okay. You're going to get some of those open strings in there. That's what we got to do. Repetition. Once you get this nice and tight and clean, you just got to keep doing it every day. Do it in different keys, okay? Now, C would be the 4 chord of G major. I'm just going to keep G major up on the top left of every chart. There's your G major scale. Okay, so see that? All right, now let's go to the 1 chord. So this chart here, whoop. Again, I'm always gonna kind of put the context for you, okay? So you got G bar chord inside in blue. You got that triad, G, B, D. Now, you saw me in that little intro piece where I want you to try. I'm hitting off the G, the root, low E, 3rd fret, 6th string, okay? So G, B, I think I went 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, okay? So you've got G to B, major 3rd, you got G to D, okay? You got a perfect 5th, you got an E in there, a major 6th. You guys can use whatever you want. G to A, a major 2nd. So, now if you really look at my fret hand, look at some of the stretches and some of the like rhythmic work, because the rhythm is, yes, this is driving the rhythm, but this right here, if your fret hand is not working with the train driving here, then it's gonna fall apart. So just focus on, that's what I'm saying, try and use 8th notes just as another way to anchor down a little bit, because we're not using a metronome, we're not playing with a drum beat, okay? So 1 and, see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 real slow. 1 and 2, and I'm just playing G, B, D, E, G, E, D, hit the A in there, hit the 4th in there, which isn't on the chart, that's okay. Okay, so you've got essentially an E minor, okay? You got the triad in there, but you're doing the intervals. You've got the C intervals. You got the G1 that's on the chart right here. Now let's go to the next chart. So here's where we're gonna kind of think like songwriters, because we always have to make music. We're not doing this just to learn how to do this. We're learning to actually create something that moves us, that we like, that makes guitar fun. This is the stuff that makes it fun, but this is the work you gotta put in to get to this level of fun. Get it? So right here, I did a lesson a couple days ago, really good, with these triad inversions, all right? Now I call them 5/13. So below this, you see G, C, E, G, C, E, excuse me. And I'll explain why I put a pink C and G in there in just a minute. So this is a 5/13 triad. This is a C major 2nd inversion triad. Now why is it, we won't go too deep on the 3rd, because the 5th note in the triad, which would be C, E, G, a triad is the 1, 3, and 5. If this sounds like crazy stuff, don't worry. Your fingers are still gonna melt. Your brain might melt too. So this is a 2nd inversion C major triad, and then I add the C in there. So if you want to add some beauty in there, you've got that. We're going to use this like a little turnaround section. Now all you got to do is slide that shape all the way up here. You got D, G, B, and that's a G 5/13, which means a G 2nd inversion triad. I just like calling it a 5/13 because I feel cool when I do that, okay? A G 5/13, D, G, B, okay? But that's a G major triad, it's just an inversion. Inversion is just where you put that lowest fundamental note, because the 5th of the triad is here on the low E. That's a 2nd inversion or a 5/13. So you could do, just try and get the blue part of the triad. Focus on your rhythm. Okay, now we're gonna add in that root, pink note. Say I just add that with my first finger. Okay. So let's get rid of all the charts. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up, and then I want you to try this. Definitely drop in the comments how it's going for you. You guys know I'm gonna hammer this forever from multiple angles. So we go back to that E minor, which would be the 6th chord, and then we go to the C, which would be the 4th chord, and then the parent or home is the 1 chord of G. Okay, but we're gonna use intervallic playing. Now, here's where the rhythm part, I'm gonna do some lesson like deep dives on rhythm, because there's so many little tiny things that set up a flow in your rhythm, okay? So when I go, that's what I'm saying, at least use 8th notes to give yourself like some framework here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay. It has happened right there, and it just happened subconsciously. There was one part, I think I hit on and of 4, and I didn't even play a note. I just let up, and I picked one, like and went 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and see that? See, what's gonna happen there is if I wanna flow into this part, I'm gonna have to set that up coming out of this G with these intervals. Let's see if I can do it. I might totally fall apart, but you need to see this because this is what I work on, and I'm trying to get better every day like these. So yeah, I did it. So let me show you this. This is going to kind of be like a deep dive inside of this lesson, but it's important because if you want to go out of this G into this inversion, it's kind of a tricky move. Look, you're playing these really awkward fingerings, hence if your fingers haven't melted yet. See, look at all. Okay, see, look how cool that is. Look at just all this move. It's movement, but it's different stretches. It's going between different intervals with different fingers. Up through an extra note in there. Now, when I want to go into this triad smooth, let's say it's a song. Let's think of it as like a songwriter. Pretty sure I hit on the and of 4. I went like this to set up the downstroke of this. Let's see. I don't know if I can do it slow, but let me try 1 and 2. See, I screw up when I start thinking about it. Yeah, see that? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so otherwise that's where I'm going to derail rhythmically. Now, it would help you a lot if you have a metronome. Don't get me wrong. If you're playing with a drummer, you have a DAW, digital audio workstation like Logic or Pro Tools, or you have a drum beat you can play to, whatever you got. It'll help you. Even if you just scratch out a little, record that on your phone and play to that. Remember, every instrument is a drum set. All right, so let's see. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Yeah, it's just this like little thing. You wouldn't even notice it, but it sets up a flow. So let's think of it like as a song, and we'll close this up. See if I can go back into the intervals after this one more time through the inversions. Yeah, so there's all these little tiny setups. I'll do another video that just does this super deep dive, and we'll just focus on the rhythm, but we'll use some stuff like this as a framework. But let me know, what are you having trouble with rhythmically? What is giving you the hardest time? Okay, so real quick side note, I do this all the time. In this lesson, you were doing these intervals, but if you have to just do bar chord to triad, bar chord to triad to interval, bar chord to triad, bar chord to triad, you can do that too, okay? But see if you can add these intervals in here, these second inversions, the 5/3 as we call them. But check out the video. I'm going to link here, somewhere over here, playlist. Just watch it. Get better. Let's keep this channel growing. I love teaching you guys this stuff. My whole goal, it's all about making you better and helping you, and I want to get better with you. So let's have fun doing it. All right? This is tough. There's some tough stuff in here. So if you're a beginner, just see if you can get one interval. And you can ditch the pick too and just do. So you can get creative. So much you can do. Sky's the limit. Drop Jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments. Let me know what you think of this lesson. What do you guys want me to make you? I'll make it. You guys know I'll make it. Grab the ebook, okay? Hone in, focus on one section. If your fingers haven't melted, they're going to come back, I promise. But this stuff makes you better, and it makes you better quicker, and it's going to take you to whole new levels to be able to play things you wouldn't even think you could play. Trust me, you're gonna hit me back in a comment later down the line, like, oh my God, I love that stuff. That's why I do this. All right, where are you watching from? What are you doing today? I'm going to go golf later today. Wish me luck. I'm probably going to lose a lot of balls, but that's okay. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.